From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
A big day of shocking breaking news across the board on your fourth stimulus check, the single biggest check you ever get in the history of this channel. A monthly check, which is nestled 6 months after 60 days away, starting the month of July, that would pay you a stimulus check every month, consecutive months, all the way through at least December. I have all the breaking news on the fourth stimulus check update of 2021 in today's recording. I also have the big updates about the fifth stimulus check update as well. But there have been a lot of other jaw-dropping breaking news developments about stimulus and this economy in the last few hours. Let me go over what I'm also going to be covering in this video. The eviction CDC moratorium has been ruled unlawful by a federal court. I'll have the latest details on that. The unemployment department says that if you've not filed a tax return and you're missing a stimulus check, get that tax return on file ASAP. The Labor Department also says that states are ordered to return money to you for unemployment recipients. I'll explain who's getting the money and when you're getting it. Incredible, great news. Then Dr. Walensky warned that COVID number of cases could surge in the month of May before falling in the month of June. And then finally, PPP runs out of money. Shocking developments across the board, as the president's touting the PPP program at the exact moment it's running out of money. Meantime, we started the day with breaking developing news about the new jobless numbers. Were they through the roof? Were they incredibly low, suggesting we need to get stimulus checks out faster? Or were they incredibly high, suggesting we need stimulus right now because we're not fully rebounded? I'll have all the breaking news from Wall Street to Main Street, from my home to your home. It's a great midday recording. I'm excited you're here. I have all the breaking news about your fourth stimulus check, your fifth stimulus check, and the other money coming this week to you as well. This is Noontime LALATE. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful day. You're almost to the weekend, and Dogecoin is almost to $1. How are you? If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you're new to this channel, this is LALATE, the most comprehensive financial news channel there is, reporting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, breaking news from financial news across the board, including your stimulus, everything from Wall Street to Main Street and more. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link's in the top of the chat and also in the pinned comment. Let's get to the breaking, developing news right off the bat. Fourth stimulus got an unusual push today, and that push came in one of the two permutations. I told you that the new jobless numbers was going to be released this morning, and that if we showed numbers dropping dramatically, it could signal we need these stimulus checks to a vote quicker than later, because you don't want the vote to come after the economy is rebounded. People may get cold feet and not give you stimulus checks. I said on the other permutation is that the numbers surge, they go high, and that suggests, hey, we're struggling here. We need stimulus checks. Well, what did the number come in at minutes ago? The number this early before sunrise came in as the following: 498,000 new unemployment numbers, the lowest number since the start of the pandemic, the lowest number since you've seen ever on the history of this channel. Wall Street is estimating, pardon the typographical error, 527 new jobless claims. So it beat Wall Street's estimates of 527, came in at 498, and the prior week was 590. The prior week was adjusted higher. Last week, it came in at 553, but was adjusted higher. And the week before that was 547. So we have basically gone around a about a $600,000 number, 600,000 claim number, to now falling below 500,000. I've never had anything below 500,000 in the history of this channel. This is why you need that fourth stimulus check to go out ASAP and that vote right away. The House members have a vote plan, and their vote plan is a stimulus check that would start the first month at $2,000 a month and then $1,000 thereafter. Their number of checks is very much liked by viewers of this channel. Their idea, as you see here in the language of their bill, is to pay $1,000 for every month of the continuation of the crisis and then another year thereafter. So let's recap that a little bit slower. So they want to give a stimulus check for the entire remainder of the pandemic and then 1 year thereafter. So let's say there's 4 more months left of this pandemic. You'll get a stimulus check every month, and then they'll give you a year thereafter of stimulus checks every month thereafter. The senators just want to give stimulus checks from July to December. So they only want to give 6 checks, whereas the House members, let's say there's 4 months left to this pandemic, they would be giving you 16 checks. But before you jump to like the House plan, let's compare the numbers. The House members are proposing to give you apparently less money per month, but would take longer for you to get the larger payout over time. So the House members want to pay you $2,000 a month for the first month, and then $1,000 thereafter. The Senate members, the amount is unknown, but word on the street is this is how much the senators want to pay you. Word on the street is the senators want to pay you $2,000 a month over 6 months, which is $12,000, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, which is $8,400. So now if you sort of run the math in your head, you sort of realize, wait, so if the House members, if there's 4 months left to this pandemic, that's 16 months. So that's 18 checks. So, because 4 plus 12 is 16, 18, let's say 18 months of checks. That's $18,000, but it would take me 18 months to get 18,000. The senators, I would get 12,000 in just 6 months. So you see how the senators want to pay you less, but you'll get the money faster. So some viewers have different opinions of whether they get the money on the come rather than hold it out longer. And then who would get these stimulus checks? You would. You would. So if you got the third stimulus check, you would get this one as well. You make less than $75,000 a year, you would. Household for less, you would. If you're on SSI or SSDI, Social Security or benefits, you would. And with that, let's go over some other items. So is this taxable? No. Is it income? No. Who would get, if I am a child, am I getting the full amount? Yes. If I'm adult dependent, am I getting the full amount? Yes. Do we know if it's taken out for child support? We don't know that yet. We don't know any of those type of details yet. When would we get the first check? July. So we're less than 2 months away from when they're proposing to give you the first check. July's check in the month of July. Would they do these by waves like the third stimulus? They can't. They can't because these are monthly stimulus checks. So these would come out every month, July and July, August and August, September and September. And away we go. When would they call this vote? In July. Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi confirmed the vote would be no later July 4th. Guess what? They go on vacation, so they have to do it then. They can't do the vote in September. That would be crazy. So yes, when would they start to do the recon? This month. It takes 2 months to do the recon, so they need to start the recon right now. There is some talk. I've seen some of the viewers in the comments. They've been wonderful. Purple Power, yeah, dropped in one of the comments that she had heard that some of the subcommittees are already working on the language. So they may be working on stuff. They don't always tell us everything they're doing. They do a lot of stuff covertly. So they may already be working on drafting some of the language. But remember, this is an add-on. This is a House add-on and or a Senate add-on. So they're going to put in the president's 4 stimulus items, the infrastructure, the roads, the climate, and then add in the stimulus checks. You would not know the amount the senators want until the final 2 days before the vote. That's what's called the vote-a-rama. There's a 48-hour window before they call the final vote in the Senate. And during that 2-day window, that is when they propose amendments. And that's when you would see the amount that the people in the Senate wish to propose. Now, I'll have more about that 4th stimulus check update of 2021 later in this video, but boy, in the last 24 hours, even the last few hours, there has just been breaking news left and right. I have never seen so much breaking news ever in the history of this channel in less than just 24-hour period about stimulus. Let's go over all the details right now. First, the eviction moratorium. The CDC eviction moratorium has been ruled unlawful by a federal district court judge in D.C. This is not unexpected. There have been a lot of attempts to invalidate the national eviction moratorium, and this was the most telling one. Federal Judge Dabney Friedrich delivered the ruling late Wednesday, and immediately the White House had to scramble and said it's dealing with the situation, but would not give much clarity about how it's dealing with the situation. The White House issued a statement during the press briefing on Wednesday saying that it's trying to deal with the situation and apply whatever pressure it can. But ultimately, the problem at issue is that the CDC eviction moratorium now remains in limbo. Viewers have asked me, does that mean it's invalidated where I am? It's just hard to say. This is one court in one part of the country. It's not where you may be. And ultimately, your court may or may not uphold the CDC eviction moratorium. I had one viewer, Scott, who said he went to court and the judge threw the CDC document on the ground and said he didn't want to hear about it. And then another shocking developing detail. This one I did not expect to come across the board. A new report came out of the state of Montana, and yeah, I'm showing you some beach. There is no beach in Montana. I got that. But Montana shocked news yesterday as Governor Greg Gianforte announced that he is ending FPUC 2 months early. What? Oh, wait a second. Can he do that? Absolutely, he can do that. FPUC is that $300 add-on that goes on top of your UI and PUA that's set to expire in September. But guess what? States have to ask to be part of the federal benefits. And if they're a Republican-led state, they may not ask for it. The Republican governor said, I don't want it. I don't want my employees in the state to have it. I want them to get back to work. This is just a supplement to try to get them not to get back to work. I'm ending it right away. So effective June 27th, you can't get it in his state. Now, the new report also suggests that other Republican-led states in the next few days could opt out of FPUC effective immediately. This is really shocking news for viewers of this channel who did not anticipate this announcement to come across the board. Also breaking news this afternoon is the following, that a new report from the Department of Labor shocked everyone. The Department of Labor said that over the last few months during the pandemic, some state unemployment offices contacted recipients and said, hi, I overpaid you. Return your overpayment to us effective immediately. And those recipients did return their overpayment to their Department of Unemployments. Well, the Department of Labor yesterday ruled that was improper and unlawful and has ordered those states to return the money to those recipients. It basically said that the states had no authority to penalize people who are overpaid to no fault of their own. The fault was the state unemployment departments, and they are ordered to return that money. But the problem is the money could take up to 1 year to return. Meantime, out of nowhere, the President of the United States may have found himself with egg on his face because in the last 48 hours, he and his vice president have been touting the wonders of the PPP program, which he extended by executive order just less than a week ago. But this White House has not been on point on noticing where and when money's landing. 24 hours ago, he talked about the restaurant grant now paying people restaurant money. It's bogus. It has not yet paid money to American restaurants. The applications are still pending. But even worse, his vice president went out touting the PPP program. Yesterday, it ran out of money. So there seems to be a disconnect of information across the board. Ironically, that disconnect comes as we learned yesterday that the press secretary for the president has been gone for over a week. Really surprising news across the board. Now, there's a lot of money going live this week, and I want to go over the money you can get and the money you can't get. And what I want you to know is what is automatic and what's not automatic. First, is there a stimulus check in the month of May? Is there a stimulus check in the month of June? There is no actual stimulus check in the month of May, and there's no actual stimulus check in the month of June. But there is stimulus money landing in the month of May, June, and also July before the stimulus check, which I talked about in this recording. Let me go over all those details starting right now. I'm really excited for you, and I want you to get this money because as a purple hawk, you pounce and get that money first before it runs out. The first group of money is everything that I talked about when the third stimulus first passed, and I said, guess what? There's about $15,000 in here for every viewer of this channel, practically. I want you to get it as soon as it goes live. Do not just accept a stimulus check and put your feet up on the chair and say, I'm done. Because there's all this other money out there, and there may be a long wait, well, it's been several months now, until fourth stimulus lands. So go get this other money. That money is rent, utilities, homeowners assistance, and SNAP. This week, states are receiving third stimulus money from the federal government to pay for rent, utilities, and homeowners assistance. Let me go over that and also SNAP, which continues all the way to December. First, renters assistance is landing in states this week. That is third stimulus money. So if you've reached out to your states before and they said we ran out of money, they ran out of second stimulus money. This is third stimulus money. And guess what? It's a lot of money. It's generally 4 to 6 months of rent they can get assistance for, which is over $5,000. And it is generally about a couple $100 to a couple $1,000 for utility assistance. It's also mortgage assistance and also homeowners utility bills. How do you get it? State Hall, State Housing Authority, City Hall, City Housing Authority, County Hall, County Housing Authority, all 6 places. That's State Hall, State Housing Authority, County Hall, County Housing Authority, City Hall, City Housing Authority. Reach out to all 6 places to find that money because all 6 different places have that money. Then, what's important to know is that if you reach out and you don't particularly qualify for the eligibility for any particular reason, it's never money. It's usually that it's past due or not past due, those type of permutations. Then consider the nonprofits. They are United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. They provide help with these as well, but with lower and different eligibility criteria. Finally, if you tried that and can't find it, reach out to the volunteers. And more about them, volunteers, coming up in the commercial break in just a second. The volunteers are on the community page at news.lalate.com/community. That link is in the description to this video and also in the pinned comment. Next, SNAP benefits are out there. And boy, if you have been a viewer of this channel or a new viewer of this channel and have never gotten SNAP, go get it. It is for people who make less than a certain threshold of income. I don't know the exact amount. It's somewhere under $75,000. If you're on SSI and SSDI, Social Security and Rural Benefits, you can get it. And how much money is it? It's a fortune. It's a lot of money. It is really one of the big success stories of this channel for a lot of viewers. Here's an example. Family of 4 in Hawaii, $1,400 a month normally before the pandemic, but Trump and Biden collectively have 2 executive orders which now increase it for 15% over 1 year. So that family of 4, $16,000 a year. Wow. Imagine so much financial freedom and cash flow opened up in your household expenses because the federal government's picking up the bill for your food. With that money paid for food, you now have the ability to use that excess money that you would otherwise pay for food to go spend on other things. Fixing the car in the driveway, fixing your child's teeth, things like that. Incredible, great news across the board. But guess what? There's a lot of other money going live this week, and I'm going to go over it because it's very important. I've seen so many of your questions and comments. It's important to know which of it is automatic and which of it's not automatic. And I'll have all those details for you and more about the fifth stimulus after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues now on Noontime LALATE. How are you? It's a beautiful day, almost making it to the weekend. You ready for the weekend? I am. This channel is adding new programming time slots and new scopes of coverage. So join me as the focus and the subjects expand on this channel, keeping the subjects you love, but adding other new subjects. And so join me as new subjects join the lineup on this channel. But first, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Fastest growing community, there is 400,000 subscribers in 1 year, a YouTube record. Make sure you subscribe. Also, by subscribing, I don't want you to miss a single new video. And we're rolling out a lot of new time slots for new videos in the next week. So watch for that exciting details. You're going to love the new shows coming to the channel. Also, like this video. Let's try to do 3,000 likes. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP. Thank you to all the wonderful new members overnight. I loved it. The link is in the top of the chat and the pinned comment. You get all the PDFs, including everything that's in the fifth stimulus, fourth stimulus. And you need it because the press secretary doesn't even know what's in the fifth stimulus. Viewers are looking like, I have the PDF LALATE. She doesn't, she needs your PDF because that is in there. She thinks it's not in there. So you need the PDF. And it's not indeed. So thank you for joining me. What a big day it is. Let me go over the big other incredible great news. There is other money going live. And let me go over the other money that's going live, landing in your bank account. But some of it is automatic and some of it's not automatic. If you have learned, I deal only with facts, and there's a series of YouTubers who are literally littering YouTube with a lot of incorrect information, causing people to think they're getting this here and they're getting that there. It's just not true. So let me explain to you what you're actually able to get, what's automatic, and what you have to do something for. First is unemployment. So if you filed a you will get let me go over 3 things that are going on with unemployment. If you filed a 2020 tax return already and paid taxes on your first $10,200 of unemployment from 2020, you're getting a tax refund from the IRS. But let me explain who and how that works. First, they're doing the refunds for single filers first in what's called phase 1. If you're a married couple, they're not coming till later this month. Okay, so let me explain who are these phase 1 people. They are people who filed a tax return, paid taxes to the federal government on their unemployment benefits, and now the federal government is returning the tax portion they paid on the unemployment benefits. Let me give you a financial example, mathematical example. Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits in 2020. You filed a tax return. Your total tax bill was $5,000, but you paid $1,000 of that $5,000 for the unemployment. You had a $1,000 tax bill for just the unemployment to the federal government. That's what you're getting refunded to. Next, let's say you're sitting back and you have not filed any 2020 tax return. Are you getting anything from the IRS automatically? Categorically not. And boy, I've had a lot of people ask this question. When am I getting my tax refund from my state? First of all, it's not just state, it's the federal government. Then they say sometimes, when am I getting the automatic refund from the federal government? And I'm just waiting for that check of my unemployment benefits back. They're not refunding any unemployment benefits. They're refunding a taxes you may have paid. So if you have not filed a tax return, this is scenario number 2. If you have not filed a 2020 tax return, you're not getting anything. So let me explain what is the next group of people that have to do something. If you received unemployment benefits in 2020, have not filed a tax return, but when you received those unemployment benefits all throughout last year, you took out for federal taxes every week, you need to file a 2020 tax return and ask for that money to be returned back to you. They're not going to return the money to you unless you ask them to. Finally, the last scenario. If you got 2020 unemployment benefits and did not take out for federal taxes and did not pay taxes on it, did not file a tax return, then you're good. Then you go do your 2020 tax return and make sure you don't pay for taxes on the first $10,200. All right, the next group that is lined up for money is the parents. Now, you have a big deadline, and the deadline's just a few days away. Again, $3,600 or $3,000 is a lot of money, but is it automatic if you do nothing? No, it is not automatic if you do nothing. So here, let me show you the example. If you have a child 17 to 6, that's $3,000 prorated per month starting the month of July, or 5 to newborn, that's $3,600 prorated per month over 12 months. And it will be paid to a person who qualifies for two eligibility items. First, you made less than $75,000, and second, the IRS knows you have a child. Now, usually it's not the first item that's a problem. It's usually the second item. Here are the three types of people that need to do something. If you have not ever filed a tax return in many, many, many years and you have a child, they're not going to pay you anything. They don't know how the child exists. They don't know the child exists. So you have to immediately go to a tax preparer and file a tax return for that 2020 tax return because it's due in a couple of days, and list that child as your dependent, which they are, so that the IRS will know, oh, you have a dependent. Let me start sending you payments in the month of July. That is the only way to do it. Second is if you do file tax returns and you have not listed that child for whatever reason, let's say the child was just born during the pandemic, you need to file a tax return ASAP and list that child as a dependent. Finally, the most unusual scenario, which dawned on me 2 days ago, it's a third scenario, is that you do file tax returns, you do list the child, but suddenly your income qualification would have normally previously disqualified you from getting this money and now would qualify for you getting this money. You need to get that return on file. Here's an example. Your most recent tax return on file is a 2019 tax return, and it features you and your child, and it showed that you made $130,000 that year. Well, guess what? You're over the threshold. It starts at 75, but it phases out at 100. You're completely out of even the phase out. You're not getting this money because they're going off of the most recent tax return they have on file. Well, wait a second. 2020 was a bad year as a pandemic. You made only $20,000 that year. You do qualify for the benefits. Well, get the 2020 tax return on file ASAP because they're going off the 2019 return, which says you're disqualified. Ultimately, a non-tax preparer, you need to speak to a tax preparer to get this money. But that shows you how it gets done. Ultimately, understand that this is a very distinct process for all this money. Like the students' money at the colleges, $1,700 of financial aid, go out to the colleges, go out to your financial advisor and get the $1,700. The earned income tax credit, $1,504, the hazard pay, that's on the 2021 return, I believe. And then if you're missing stimulus checks, request them on your tax return. First, second, or third, I have had viewers do it, and they get the checks within about 30 days. You're not getting the checks in 6 months. It's just ridiculous. Here's the two things you need to know. First, if you have a IRS representative on the phone tell you you're getting your stimulus checks when you request them, a year later, it's not happening. Maybe that's what they have to cover their, about, but I've had viewers get them, in about a month or 2 months. So it's not 12 months out. Second, I had one viewer, very nice on Twitter, tweet me yesterday and said, we got to push for them to bring back the non-filer filing so we get our stimulus checks. No. You don't push the Department of Treasury. They don't listen to anyone. They certainly don't listen to Purple Power. So no, you do not push the Department of Treasury to change their Treasury practices. So if they tell you you need to file a tax return to get money, do the tax return. Don't sit back and don't do the tax return and just start tweeting. That is not an appropriate solution to the problem. Tweeting when you're told tweeting rather than filing the tax return when you're instructed to file the tax return is not the appropriate solution to the situation. But I appreciate the mindset. It's just not right here. Meantime, fifth stimulus is really heating up. The fifth stimulus is the single biggest payout for SSI recipients that we've ever seen in the history of this channel, and that starts in September. That fifth stimulus is an add-on like fourth stimulus. And let me go over the details for the fifth stimulus package. The fifth stimulus package would have an add-on that would provide SSI and SSDI reform. What is it? First, it would increase your benefit limits. Second, it would increase your asset limits. Then it would add an inflationary benchmark. And then it would remove the income exclusion and then remove the marriage penalty. All right, let me explain easy breezy how that works. Understand the fifth stimulus has a lot of other items besides this. And there's a lot of money in the fifth stimulus, by the way, for single people, for seniors, for medical and for hazard pay. So this is among the other items. All right, so what is this? First, they're going to raise everyone's benefits up to a new big number. Great news. Who is this? It's you. Social Security, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, survivor benefits. If you have multiple benefits, they're all going to rise up. Then they're going to tie you to a new benchmark. Inflation. So if inflation goes through the roof, your benefits will go through the roof. Then they're going to remove the asset cap. It dates back to the 1980s. It says that a 1980s law that says you can't, for some of you can't keep more than $3,000 on hand. It's going away. The income exclusion going away. That's a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits over a threshold. They're throwing that away and say, if you want to work, go ahead and work. $1,000, $2,000, we'll let you do it. And finally, the marriage penalty. If you have suffered the marriage penalty or you're considering getting married and you know about the marriage penalty, they will be throwing it away permanently for people currently hit by the marriage penalty and people fearing that the marriage penalty will hit them if they do get married. Incredible news across the board. And with that, I'm so excited that you have joined me on Noontime LALATE. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. And I told you we're mixing up the programming. New shows coming into the lineup. All the coverage you like and love currently, but new stuff being added. So I don't want you to miss the new time slots and the new shows. So make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and I'll see you shortly as LA continues today.